Hello, it's Mr. VR. Today, I will be sharing. In the XREAL Air series of AR glasses, I had the experience with the latest and most high-performance model, the XREAL Air 2 Ultra. So I will share a hands-on review. XREAL is a handy pair of smart glasses that allow you to enjoy movies and games on a big screen just by connecting to your smartphone. This is ideal for viewing content during travel, such as on new trunk lines or airplanes. I believe there are many people who use XREAL Air. I also own an XREAL Air, and I'm on the fence about whether to switch to this XREAL Air 2 Ultra. So I thought I'd try to explain that too. Let's get started quickly. The XREAL series has so many models up to this point that even I get confused, so let's review them briefly here. Here is a table of the XREAL series up to now. In 2019, XREAL Lite was released. I've highlighted this model on my channel several times. A camera is mounted on the front of the glasses for 6 degrees of freedom and hand tracking. Functionally, it has quite a lot of features. Then, on March 4th, 2022, the much anticipated XREAL Air was released. There has been significant evolution from the XREAL Lite, with a lighter weight and a micro UKL display that looks more like regular sunglasses. And here it gets a bit complicated. The XREAL Air 2 was released on October 16th, 2023. Even though it's called 2, there isn't much evolution from there. The weight has reduced to 79 grams. There are minor changes like it being 2 grams lighter, improved acoustics, softer temples, slightly brighter displays. Those are the minor changes. The price for XREAL Air is 49,800 yen. XREAL Air 2 is 54,980 yen, which is 5,000 yen pricier. But if you're going to buy it, I feel like it's better to buy the second one. Around the same time as XREAL Air 2, XREAL Air 2 Pro was also released. It's almost the same as XREAL Air 2, but it comes with a lens dimming feature. You can adjust the smoke level of the lens in 3 stages. I tried it out myself. And since it's electronically dimmed, it's easy to use and the way you perceive your surroundings changes a lot, so it's highly functional. So if you want this feature, you may choose the XREAL Air 2 Pro. Now, on to XREAL Air 2 Ultra. We'll talk about the experience later, but let's look at the key specs here. First off, regarding the release date, it was supposedly on March 31st, 2024, but due to the rush of reservations, it got delayed to end of May. Instead, you will receive 3 markers. The number 1 feature of XREAL Air 2 Ultra is the camera attached to the front of the glasses. If you invest in XREAL Air 2 Pro and incorporate XREAL Lite features, it is easy to visualize the function and appearance. As a result, the Air series has achieved 6 degrees of freedom instead of 3. By the way, this attached camera is to recognize space. These can't be used to take photos or videos. You won't be able to get the image data on the app side. Explain the difference between 3DF and 6DF 3DF when the display is displayed in space. When you move around, it was like following the display. Six. Even if you are moving in DF, the display will be able to do as long as it stays there. This is because the full-length camera is space-aware. It will be something that can be done. However, this feature is only available for a limited number of smartphones, only when using the Nebra app and using the AR app. In other words, insert XDR directly into your iPhone. If you want to use it like mirroring, you can use the Ultra. Doesn't even make it 6DF. This is a bit confusing and we'll get to that later. The other thing is a little more weight at 80G. The viewing angle is slightly increased by 5.2 degrees. However, this viewing angle is supposed to be a diagonal viewing angle. I think it's better to lower the VR viewing angle as a guide. Let's look at it with our eyes. At the experience venue, we also did a fashion show for the XREAL Air 2 Ultra. At first glance, it doesn't look any different from the other XREAL series. There are 2 main differences. One is that the bottom part of the frame is made of titanium and has a silver color. This looks stylish, but missing frame in the bottom part, I think it can look like half-rimmed sunglasses. The glaring feeling seems to be directly underneath. I feel like I have different tastes. The other is that the cameras are mounted on the left and right sides of the frame. This will be used in public places. I think this may be a concern. It's not like a part of a pair of glasses. It's barely acceptable. I looked at the others side by side and compared them. It looked pretty much the same. Then take a look at the experience.
Right now, I think we're projecting content on various spaces in front of us. Now that the viewpoint is the cursor, if you move your head, the cursor will align with you like that. The cursor is in the direction you are looking. That's right. If the cursor is there, it will be YouTube without permission, and the video is playing right now. If you look at the far left and you put your hand on it right now, and you put it out in space on this side, you will see that the hand tracking hand is responding now. In this state, I think this angle is the best. This pinches and plays and so on. This is where the cursor is looking at. That's right, make eye contact and use your hands to go up and down like this. This is not an operation, but the cursor is aligned where you're looking. That's right. It's a matter of matching it up and pressing the decision button with your hands. Dimming is also good, and if you dim it, you will not be able to see your surroundings much. That's right. Now you can also turn on the dimming. In this state, I think the marker is detected now, so I'm going to home it for now. If you look ahead now, you think that the world of snow is out, but if you look at the bottom, you will see a landscape of women and snow from the left and a green calendar on the right. It's the same procedure as the previous choice, but it changes by adjusting the perspective of the woman. If you decide to do the inspection, you will see a variety of avatars. You can also choose from a variety of avatars. Slowly you can see contacts and such in 3D. It feels like a social network site. Let me remove the paper. Can I move this? It's perfectly fine. Because it's operational, it stays here. Or I can revolve around it. This doesn't recognize it, but it recognizes the space, right? That's right. After performing spatial mapping, it's placed there like 6 dog. And this is really in SNS mode, and I think something appears like a mushroom monster, for example, like the spaceship on the left. On the left, the rocket launched. Next is this right side. I think the video is auto-playing now. It looks three-dimensional now, but if you look at the bottom, various images are appearing from the left like avatars and minions. If you choose an avatar, it'll feel more 3D. You can operate quite a bit with your hands. That's right, because from now on, the SLAM sensor is pointing down. 18 degrees? Yes, at 18 degrees. So even when placed at a lower angle, you can operate it. This is nice. Can you return this to its original form for a moment? This orange marker here, have a look here, something like a model of a bug comes out. Would you please put it on the palm of your hand? If you can get it relatively close to the range this sensor permits, there will be an appropriate response. There's a 3D model and it moves along with this marker. But when you switch it like this, various insects switch. Here you can switch patterns that were set beforehand, but you can also turn off quite a bit of the screen on your smartphone. Well, for now this dedicated demo app is running. The screen gets like this when in use. Oh, it's kinda airy, it's Navira, right? When I return Navira, I believe this one becomes a pointer. So, no matter what, the screen will still come up. Because it's a demo now, it can be done even with the screen off. Anyway, the screen is still on though, it's just that on the demo the screen gets like this. It's pitch black. For now, the app itself is running, the demo app itself. When using it in a normal way, is it possible to use it like this with the screen turned off? Yes, that's possible. So we can do that with the SDK. We provide, for example, if a platform with background processing can be created, can you turn off the power button? Even if the sleep button is turned off, it can still be used. I think it all depends on the content of the development itself. Can this screen be used when bought normally? It does not appear. This is just a demo screen that we are providing right now. Based on the SDK, you can display it like this. It's just a sample. So each developer is also based on the SDK for the time being. This is how you can create a platform. When used normally, it is the same as any other Air 2. Will it be the home screen of Nebra? If you want to experience spatial displays and spatial computing, that's right. The Air 2 and Air 2 Pro are Nebra. It's a pointer on your phone. Is it a library on your smartphone? But when it comes to Ultra, my hands are already responsive. The glass itself is honestly a smartphone. Same hub role as Vision Pro. The Nebra home screen can be operated by hand as long as it is Ultra is there, no routine. The Nebra home screen is not possible. Choose by mobile. For example, on your mobile phone to your own application if you can enter with Nebra. From there, it depends on the application. For example, if the application is, if it's an application that you can do with this hand tracking, Nebra. The smartphone itself is not a cursor. If you enter your own app, then you can use it as you would like it. But is it provided from there? Do you want to develop it yourself? That's really up to the developer. Again, this is just a demo and not actually provided. It just so happens that the demo is in. I thought it was pretty good to operate with hand tracking. That's what I want to use. So there will be a lot of other models in the future. I think various developers will come out with it. That's right, if you can get there. What else? That's it for the demo experience.
This time, hand tracking, 6 DOFs, spatial awareness, etc. We were able to create a full-fledged MR experience that took full advantage of the features of the XREAL Air 2 Ultra. It's important to note, however, that this experience doesn't look the same once you've purchased it. I'd like to add that because I was a little too short on my own questions. First of all, it is necessary to have a compatible smartphone model use XREAL on any of the phones in this table that are compatible with Mr. Spaces. Mr. Space is not supported on iPhones and other devices and is mainly only compatible with some Galaxy series and Xperia series. Aircasting is a feature that mirrors your phone's screen as it is. You can't just place the display in space freely. However, I won't go into this article, but you can do that if you use an accessory called a bean. And if you start a smartphone app called Nebra on a compatible model from here, the MR Space home screen will be launched on XREAL. You can launch multiple browsers, freely arrange videos in space, and so on. It's a true spatial computing, but the operation here is the same as the previous XREAL Air. It was necessary to operate the smartphone as a pointer. If the hand tracking you were expecting on the XREAL Air 2 Ultra is available here, I thought it would be nice to be able to do spatial computing empty-handed with my smartphone in my pocket. There were talks during the experience that it couldn't be done. To use hand tracking, you have to launch the MR app from here, which means you're going to use it within the MR app. This MR app certainly doesn't have anything that XREAL has to offer. In this experience, it was an MR app that was created only for demos. So you'll be using third-party MR apps developed using the XREAL SDK, for instance. Apps like Styly have been around for some time, but the app itself probably needs to support hand tracking. You'd probably need to have multiple screens of browsers like this one in this demo. If you're using a third-party browser, it would be great to have an app that lets you watch videos on a big screen, but I think this will take some time. This lack of apps is the same problem with the Vision Pro. I felt like this was really close to Apple's Vision Pro. The Vision Pro itself is revolutionary, but there are too few apps. So it's not quite possible to use them on a daily basis. At this point, the Quest 2 and Quest 3 which can play Emster apps, are still strong. There are many ports from VR games, and even then, it takes a lot of time. It's a difficult task to enrich them with Emster-only models, but for Emster app developers, it seemed quite good. There aren't any other devices that allow you to easily experience MR in a functional way. I'll touch on the hand tracking performance as well. The operation method probably differs depending on the MR app. In this demo, the pointer was selected by the orientation of the face and decided by the pinching motion of the hand tracking. As for sensitivity, I could only move for a short time. I couldn't do a complete evaluation, but I thought it was fairly good. However, I felt the motion comfort was not enough. The performance of the movement depends on the phone's performance, so it might not be powerful enough to operate hand tracking. In terms of image, it felt like the initial hand tracking of the Quest. The movement seemed a bit heavy and lacking in accuracy. Perhaps this is because I've grown accustomed to the hand tracking of the Quest 3 and Vision Pro. If I were to use this regularly, I think that would be stressful. But improvements might be seen with the use of the latest smartphones, so I indeed want to give it a try. So I'm contemplating whether I should get the XREAL Air 2 Ultra. I already own an XREAL Air. When the XREAL Air 2 and Air 2 Pro released, I was unsure about upgrading. The price hasn't changed much, and the functionalities are pretty similar too, so I'm definitely confused. Actually, I bought XREAL Air 2 Pro because I thought the dimming function was pretty neat. I heard about the release of the XREAL Air 2 Ultra right before I was about to unbox it. Instead of opening it, I waited for the right timing. Actually, after trying out this time, I figured I might as well buy the Ultra. I wish I could say that. But when I think if there are any scenarios where I could use the hand tracking, I ended up being indecisive again. I feel like I don't necessarily need to go all the way to the Ultra. I'm still unsure on whether or not I should go with the Air 2 Pro. Felt like I purchased out of impulse. Now that I think about it, the first generation XREAL Air would have been good enough. These thoughts run through my mind. If the prices were around the same, I would go with the Ultra, but this would cost me around 100,000 yen. Honestly speaking, those who are thinking of buying the Ultra at this stage for now, it can serve both the large and small purposes. I would probably go with the Ultra, the top model. Often, it's the developers who buy the most. The only concern in that case would be the comfort level, but my time wearing it was notably short. That's a difficult part. It felt the same as the other Air series products. In fact, the weight was almost the same. I wouldn't worry about it too much. However, for ordinary use, you might not be able to fully utilize the Ultra's capabilities. If you seek ultra high performance, Air 2 Pro would be a good fit. If you're buying now, go for Air 2. If you already have the first generation Air, it's fine as it is. That's the kind of feeling I get, especially if you're only using it for viewing images. I have that kind of feeling. Even while I'm creating the content for this video, I'm contemplating whether to go for Ultra. As someone who puts out explanatory videos on VR, even if I have the choice to buy, when it actually comes to buying, I hesitate by using an MR device. To be liberated from smartphones, I have been anticipating for a long time. Even with the Apple Vision Pro, it won't occur. I'm confronted with reality. Probably, even after getting the Ultra, I feel I won't get rid of that vague feeling. But if I were to choose Air 2 Pro, I look forward to experiencing true MR. I think I'll choose Ultra. Air has its own use. If it comes to that, I might as well go for Ultra. After so much deliberation, I have decided to purchase Ultra. It's something I am hopeful about. Ultimately, the best case scenario would be to operate on its own without being connected to a smartphone. It's the joy of being cableless. I look forward to the release of the cableless XREAL version I'm most expecting from it. Maybe this time's Ultra might be included in the XREAL Air 2 lineup with the XREAL Air 3 because it might transform into that shape. I secretly think that, personally, I believe the best in AR glasses is XREAL, where I would like to put hope. I'll continue to post videos related to XREAL. Please subscribe to the channel and rate it highly. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video.